Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. See the first question. There arose serious challenge to democratic state system between the two world wars. Evaluate the statement. Just take 5 minutes and give me the framework. What the examiner is asking you about. Yeah. Just give me the framework. I lost the chat briefly. So give me the framework. Who has written the framework? Intro challenges to World War democratic state system between two world wars, before world wars, and conclusion. Before world wars. So yeah, there arose a serious challenge to democratic state system between the two world wars. Evaluate the statement. Okay, so what are the challenges to the democratic state systems between the two world wars? They are asking you. Okay, so first of all, you should establish the fact that between world wars there was an emphasis or an effort to push the democratic state system. Okay, and then you can write what are the challenges. Okay, what are the challenges to the democratic state system? So first you introduce what is the democratic state system. Okay, what is a democracy or democratic state system? You introduce. Okay, you introduce what is a democratic state system, and then you try to say what are the challenges. What are the challenges they faced between the two world wars? So what are the challenges? The first is the at the end of World War One, what is the main consequence which is a threat to the democratic state system? The formation of USSR, which is a communist oriented country. The first is the rise of USSR, which is an alternative ideology to the democratic ideology. Okay, where there was a serious push for communism. Okay, and then what are the other challenges? The rise of Germany and Italy, because though they were now becoming like dictatorship. One is the Nazism, one is the fascism. So both these philosophies were threat to democracy because it was person based and not people based. And then Great Recession of 1929. So between World War One and World War Two means from 1918 to 1939. And failure of League of Nations, which was again headed by democratic countries. So the failure of League of Nations is also a threat to the democratic state systems. The continuation of imperialism. The continuation of imperialism by countries like UK, France, and other places where they were still focusing on the colonies is a threat to the democratic state system. Okay, so the Germany and Italy, they were, and then the Japanese acting as an imperialistic power. The Japanese acting as imperialistic power. So all these are threats to the democracy between the World War One and World War Two. However, the next focus or the next aspect or dimension of the answer is, however, there is a threat to democracy even before World War One. You can write about excessive nationalism. Yeah, during World War One and Two, there was Spanish Civil War also. So World War One, before World War One, what are the threats to the democracy? Too much of nationalism, imperialism. And you can say after World War II also, threat to the democracy continued in the form of Cold War. So all these aspects are threat to the democratic state systems between world wars, before world wars, and after world wars. Okay. However, the threat to the or challenges to these democratic state systems were not so big enough to displace the ideology of democracy across the world. And despite so many serious challenges, democracy as a political philosophy thrived across the world, and it is one of the most accepted way of state system in the world today. That is how you have to approach this answer. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So Hindu. Okay. Yes, the rise of communism is good. October Revolution. Cause of collapse of democratic system. I hope you are meaning in the context of USSR. Hindu, are you there? It is not the collapse of democratic system during the fascism, Nazism, Great Depression. These are not attributed to the entire world, right? They are part of some of the countries. So rise of fascism, good. Nazism, good. Persecution of Jews, Spanish Civil War, good. Rise of Japan as colonial power, good. You can write dimensions before World War, because it's a 250 word answer, please remember. And then before World War I, after World War II, and conclusion saying that democracy still prevailed. Clear? Hindu, is it clear, ma? Okay, fine. See the second question. To what extent can Germany be held responsible for causing two world wars? That is World War I and World War II. Discuss critically. Please see this tagline. Give the framework. So, yeah. If this is a 150 word answer, you will just describe Germany as responsible for World War I, II, and maybe in conclusion you can mention that Germany is not the only reason. Again, if this is a 250 word answer, you have to have a separate side heading as to why Germany is not the only reason. It's a 12.5 marker. Then you should have other causes as a side heading. Okay, even if it's a 200 word answer, you should have other causes as one of the side heading. Apart from the side headings, you people are mentioning Germany as a reason for one, Germany as reason for two, other reasons, and then conclusion. That is the framework. Clear? So coming to the question, the question says, to what extent can Germany be held responsible for causing the two world wars? Discuss critically. So we all know that Germany definitely has the major guilt in the particular two world wars. So directly you can say that the role Germany in the two world wars, which have been a catastrophe on the humankind, cannot be denied in the historical context. However, there are many other factors which have played the role in extending this world war. As I keep saying, for any moment there might be a trigger moment. So Germany might be a trigger moment for World War II or World War I as a matter of fact. But the extension of World War from 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945, it is not the sole responsibility of Germany itself. Clear? So first coming to the side heading of Germany for World War I. What is the reasons for World War I? The first is, what are the reasons for World War I? The first is the excessive nationalism. And then here it is Bismarck and Kaiser William II. And then humiliation of France. Expansion attitude. And then forming alliances. Okay. So all these are primarily issues. And then also you can say during World War I, Germany has attacked the USA in the name of U-boats or the submarines. So all these are primary reasons for Germany initiating and continuing the World War I. Coming to World War II, it is quite obvious the humiliation of Germany in Treaty of Versailles, then the rise of Nazis, that is Hitler, and then the failure of Weimar Republic in Germany, and then the dictator attitude of Hitler. Okay. And then the immediate reason is the invasion of Poland. So these are the reasons for World War I. These are the reasons for World War II. And then what are the other reasons for the world wars? First is the imperialism. Okay, imperialism. Then greed. Imperialism is nothing but the greed for markets. Excessive nationalism. Failure of League of Nations. Appeasement policy by France and UK. Disregard to German emotions. Here, disregard to German emotions is different because this is not in the hands of Germany. Disregard to German emotions. Then too much focus, and then the Great Economic Depression of 1929. And then focus on arms. All these are the reasons for the world wars. And then in the conclusion, you can mention saying that while Germany is one of the main reasons, Germany is not the only sole reason for the world wars. The immediate reason might be Germany, but the continuation of world wars and then the series of challenges posed by these things is a culmination or a cumulative guilt of many European nations. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So Indu I have done. Raghuram, Jitender, yesterday it was done. Soumya we have done. Santosh we have done. So Sriram. Yeah. Good introduction. Yeah. Alliances, triple alliance and triple entity, colonial expansion mindset. Yes. Arms race, nationalism. Humiliation of France. Did you write? You can write that. Bismarck
No,
was
sir.
responsible. Humiliation of France.
No, sir, I didn't.
Okay. Because Bismarck was responsible for that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Treaty of Versailles. Yes. Hitler. Aggression. Invasion of Poland was. This is the immediate outbreak. Yes. Okay. So decent points. Side heading. Other causes. Sriram.
Yes, sir. I was out of space, so I didn't include it.
Okay. Other causes. Then see,
Yeah, sir.
Sriram. If you are out of space, you can use this approach.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll include it.
Okay, what you can do, probably just going by your handwriting and space you are using, what I am thinking is conclusion. Maybe you can start from here. Okay, you draw a small diagram here and draw another causes like this. At least examiner will know that you are writing here.
Yeah, sir. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
remaining answer is good. No problem. Now, see the third question. The anti-colonial struggles in the West Africa were led by new elite of Western educated Africans. Examine. Okay, so it was an offbeat question in that year, but a good question. It is about the Western educated like Ghana and all. You should write those examples. Just give the framework. Yeah, any other framework? Jitendra has given one framework. Yeah. So the anti-colonial struggles in West Africa were led by new elite of Western educated Africans. Okay. Examine. So basically, the introduction should be in the context like how the anti-colonial struggle started in West Africa. So in West Africa, obviously the anti-colonial struggle started a bit late, but they were inspired by the series of events which are happening around the world, including in the South Asia from India. So that can be your introduction. They are inspired from Indian movements. So the first example can be, this is a very factual question. So you need to remember few names. One is Nkrumah from Gold Coast or Ghana. So Nkrumah, he was a educated person who has gone to European countries for education and came back and fought for the freedom of the people of Ghana. And another person is he is called, it's a very typical name, Zikiwde. Okay, Zikiwe. So he is from Nigeria. He fought for Nigeria. So you can write that they were exposed to the Western education and this gave them the mindset to fight against the colonization of the British and the other European powers. Okay, the another person is Cabral. Sorry. Okay, he fought for Guinea. Okay, Guinea was occupied by Portugal, so he fought for freedom of Guinea. Okay, and then so you can write these three names and say that these three people who were educated with the Western education fought for the freedom of Africa, and subsequently you can say this philosophy of anti-colonial struggle spread over the entire Africa, and the ways and means used by these leaders were also inspired from some of the nations like India, because the most of the movements were quite peaceful. They were many a time non-violent, so constitutional in nature. So all these were a kind of reflection that the colonial struggles across the world were following a certain pattern. And then you can extend this answer by saying this particular movement of Western Africa got spread to the entire Africa, and then it not only helped in the decolonization of Africa, but also to fight the evils within the Africa. For example, the system. What is that system? Just unable to recollect that. What is that system? Which the Nelson Mandela fought.
Apartheid, I think so.
Yes, apartheid, right. This particular decolonization movement inspired the Africa to fight the apartheid, which is the racial discrimination against the black Africans. Hence, you can extend in the conclusion saying that this particular fight, the philosophy of fight was carried on even during the apartheid, and the Africa as a nation came together after coming out of the colonial clutches of the various European powers. So there is very limited content for this question, and also it's a very factual question. So obviously you need to memorize few names. That is one part of it. Okay. Who has written this answer? Whose questions are not discussed yesterday? Anyone? Who has written? Jitendra has given some framework. Jitendra, you have written?
No, sir. I wrote by, I didn't upload it.
Okay. Navya has given some framework. Navya, you have written? She's there in class. Okay. It's not opening. Renuka, did you write?
Renu wrote it.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Nigeria. Good. Yes. Tovalau, you know. Yes. Cabral. So you have given one more example of also. Good. Okay. Renuka, you wrote all this without seeing? because it's difficult for anyone to remember so many names.
No, sir, I've referred the data from Google.
Okay. So ideally, see, I was trying to recollect some names. I could recollect only 3. So it's not an easy thing. In 2016 mains, I still remember everyone left this question, but still these type of questions, if you write decent answers, you'll still stand out. Okay. So see, ideally, if you can mention so many names, you will get 8 out of 10 because no one will attempt this question first of all. But even if you know 2 or 3 names, okay, 2 or 3 names, because it's a difficult question remembering those names and countries, and that too in the world history, in the decolonization, I can understand. So such questions are generally, honestly, almost 99.99 people don't attempt it. So, but this is UPSC, right? You have to be in the 0.01. So if you have to be in the 0.01, then you have to have at least 2 or 3 names, write their names. Generally, this Kruma name is a very common name. Everyone will write Kruma. Kruma, everyone knows. Kruma of Ghana. Because even in the textbook of NCERT, there is a big chapter on Kruma. Okay, so everyone remembers it. Even if you write Kruma, at least you will get, I'm sure you'll get 2 to 3 marks in this question, which is decent enough. Yes, means and ways, good. Okay, good answer. But if you can, ideally this answer you have to reproduce in the examination hall. But then it is very difficult. So concentrate on any 2 to 3 names of Western. Was the feedback clear? Was the feedback for third question clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. See the last question. What are the major political, economic, and social developments in the world which have motivated the anti-colonial struggle in India? So good answer. Okay. So you have to give the political, economic, and social developments in the world which have motivated the anti-colonial struggle in India. Okay, so what is the demand of the question? You have to write the political, economic, and social aspects. Okay, coming to the answer, first, you can introduce by saying that the anti-colonial struggle in India started in the 19th century with many reasons, being the modern education and the socio-economic reforms within India of the 19th century. And then you can say, apart from this, certain events and developments of the world have further inspired the anti-colonial struggle in India. This will be your introduction. Clear? And now, then you will say that some of the major developments in the world with regard to political. So what is the major political development in the world which inspired the anti-colonial struggle in India? One is the nationalism. Okay, with regard to the political, the first thing is the nationalism. Okay, with regard to the political thing, the first reason which inspired India to fight against the British was nationalism. Political. The first is the nationalism. So how this nationalism was portrayed? The nationalism was portrayed through many instances. For example, the unification of Germany and Italy, and then defeat of Russia in the hands of Japan in 1906. Russia was defeated by Japan in 1906. And then the imperialistic attitude of the European powers. Imperialistic attitude of the European powers. And then rise of new countries like USA during World War I. And also the Khilafat issue after the World War I in the Turkey or the Ottoman Empire, which united India in the name of non-cooperation movement. Then coming to the economic aspects. Economic aspects is mainly, one reason is the price rise. Price rise during the World War. Then price rise during the World War. Another is the industrial revolution and demand for markets, where India became a scapegoat for dumping of the European products, especially the England and other countries. So it inspired India to fight against the economic drain. So drain of wealth, drain theory. And then the recession of 1929. And continuous famines and depressions within the Indian subcontinent due to British policies. And industrial revolution in Japan. While industrial revolution in Western countries and Europe is a different aspect, industrial revolution in Japan also inspired India to go for anti-colonial struggle. And finally, the social developments. Finally, the social developments. So what are the social developments? First is the Western education. And then the inspiration from French Revolution. You can write it in political or social also. French Revolution. Okay. And then the socio-economic reforms. Socio-economic reforms. And then the rise of new middle class or the learned class, women rising to the power, okay. So all these are the reasons for India to get motivated towards anti-colonial struggle. By writing these reasons, then you'll conclude on a positive note that due to all the above reasons, India had started the great journey towards the anti-colonial struggle, which culminated in the year 1947 with the independence of India. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So more or less everyone who wrote yesterday only wrote. So Venkateshwari, did you write the last question? No, she has not written. Santosh. Raghuram. Fine. We'll again, because generally, randomly, I'm again doing Soumya's. Soumya, did you write the last question? No. Santosh will try to do again. He has written last question. No. So words I'm picking up, they are not writing. Fine. Jitendra, I'll do yours. You have written, Jitendra?
Yes, sir.
Introduction can be slightly better, Jitendra. What we discussed, you can write. Okay?
Yes, sir. I'll make sure.
Industrial, French Revolution, American Revolution. You can write it in social causes also. Japanese
Yes,
victory
sir.
of Europe, Home Rule movement. Okay. And other reasons we have discussed, right?
Yes,
The
sir.
nationalism, the formation of alliances. Okay, anyhow, you have written good points. These are good. Drain of wealth, economic hardships, rise of prices. Yes. Depressions, famines. Because if you see, the markets of India were integrated to the world by this time. The commercialization of agriculture was happening, right?
Yes, sir.
Depression. Social developments, Western education, racial discrimination, yes. Women empowerment. And then bring in the 19th century socio-economic reforms. Sorry, socio-religious. Sorry, socio-religious reforms.
Yes, sir.
Conclusion can be better. You can link it to 1947 independence.
Yes, sir. Due to space constraint, I can't able to
Yeah,
think more.
I understood that. But you have to manage now. By the time you have to plan your answer.
Yes, sir.
So that's it. Any other questions related to? Soumya, you have written that question. You have said yes, sir. But I could not find that answer in yours. No. Oh, the only question you have written is this. Okay, I was just trying to flip it. How is that everyone is writing same introduction? Huh? Someone is unmuted. Is his answer similar answer everyone is writing? Okay, Soumya, your answer is almost similar to that of Jitendra, but same feedback for you also. Okay. Fine. Any other doubts with regard to today's class? Clear?